Yes, you know, it's kind of funny really when you get on a platform with two guys who can't half hear and one guy who can't half talk anymore. So. It was in 1983, Ron Martin, lead singer for the Dumpton Valley Boys, who was also Kyla Rowland's brother, stepped up onto the Dumpton Valley Boys bus and said, "I just heard a tenor singer this week that blew my socks off. He's with a group called the Singing Americans, and his name is Danny, something like Funderburk." So when I got home from that trip, I went to our Bible bookstore and I bought the only Singing Americans album they had. It was called Everybody Ought to Praise His Name. I took it home, put it on the player, and I just listened. When it got to the song The Galilean, and Danny took the solo on the second verse, I turned up the volume. I loved his tone. But then toward the end of the song, he flipped that tone into a full voice, and he sang, "You will never be the same again." And I became an instant fan. And today I'm standing here on this platform, still a fan, but also honored to be a friend. In our genre's history, if you've been listening for a long time, you can probably easily name the tenors who have impacted the genre. The ones who've made such an impact, they actually influenced the sound of the tenor part itself for a generation or more. Denver Crumpler, Rosie Roselle come to mind, along with a few others like Bobby Clark and Archie Watkins and Kirk Talley and Brian Free. And in this room, most of the great tenors singing in groups today would tell you they were influenced by one or more of those guys. But you can't make a list without this name being on it, Danny Funderburk. Danny's recognizable voice influenced an entire generation of gospel music's best tenors, beginning in the 80s and continuing till now. His untrained, God-given ability to take a song from a soft, airy head tone to a full voice thunder, the way he did on what I would call his signature songs like Somebody Touched Me and his often imitated but never duplicated version of For What Earthly Reason, have set him apart from almost any tenor you can think of. Back in 1983, we'd never heard anything like it. And in 2023, he's still considered one of the most unique, inspiring voices in our genre's history. But beyond his ability to interpret a lyric and bring you to your feet with a soaring high ending like the high C sharp on the end of This Old House, what has set Danny apart, what has made the biggest, most enduring impact on those of us in this room, really doesn't have anything to do with his singing. It has everything to do with his heart and his love for people. During our time together with the cathedrals, I always noticed how people were attracted to it. They always wanted to talk to him before and after the concerts. I don't think it was because of his singing. Now, of course, there was a lot of that. But what really attracted people was his obvious love for them and his willingness to listen. He's always been one of the last to leave the building after a concert because he wants to stay until he's talked to the very last person who had something to say. So I could stand here all afternoon and talk about his songs and talk about all the stuff he's known for, but my guess is we go around the room and ask the question, what do you like about Danny Funderburk? The most consistent answer wouldn't be, man, he nailed that C sharp on This Old House. Instead, I think the answer you would hear is, he's such a nice guy, you can tell he loves people. So to all the younger tenors in the room today, and those who might hear this recording down the road, if you want to have an impact that outlasts your youthful ability, if you want to leave an impression that makes a difference, Don't let your high notes concern you nearly as much as your concern for the people you get to sing to. Because today we are honoring a legendary tenor singer, but we are also honoring the man behind the voice, the real guy, the guy who loves to fish, loves to talk, loves to laugh, and most importantly, the guy who loves his Lord and who loves the people his Lord loves, and that's everybody. It's my privilege and a real honor to induct my friend Danny Funderburk into the Southern Gospel Music Association Hall of Fame.